Oh, oh. I feel like this is episode 18. I'm pretty sure it's episode 18. I am excited to be here, even though I'm a little uncomfortable. Give me a minute because my setup just went kind of chaotic a little bit here, and I just went live on Instagram. And hold on, let me pin that. I swear I'm gonna get to you. Let me turn my music down a little bit so you can hear my lovely voice. A little into myself, sorry. Okay, so do that. Gotta pin it. How are you guys doing? How's life? We got Johnny in the comments because he's the co-host, so we're doing great so far. Oh, pin comment. Okay, I did it. I fixed it, guys. We did it. Okay. What is up? Welcome to episode 18 of Fluffernutter Live. Today, we're going to have the Mira Image on, and he is a friend of ours. His name is CJ, and I got to remember to unmute him when I bring him on, so let's hope I remember to do that. I'm still not used to this guest concept. It's so weird to me. And we're going to bring Johnny on here, and when I bring him on, I'll make the sandwich. Let me get my breath, guys. It's been a day. I'm uncomfortable in like a lot of aspects of my body, and I don't know why. I think I'm pregnant, so we'll see how that works. Ooh, let me see if I can get... Hold up. Let's see here. Boom. Go live with the Mira Image. Just invited to him in Instagram Live. Okay, cool. Mom's on. We're good. We're good there. Let me bring Johnny on because I'm kind of tired of talking about myself at this point. Yeah. What's up, CJ? All right. I promise I'm going to bring CJ on here. So let's go ahead and bring Johnny on. Boom.
When the game on the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
What up, man? What's going on?
That's gonna get old at some point.
Yeah, I might have to change the song.
No,
Like
never. Let's just be insanely aggravated with it. Just be like, like
It's boring.
and just dread it so bad.
We could always go like crazy hardcore rock and just bash out.
Yeah,
Totally
true.
awkward, but
Dude, yeah. Or we could get like some copyrighted Barney music and just really rock. Have you ever heard
I would still do it.
the remix of cartoons? Like, have you heard the SpongeBob remixes and the Harry Potter remixes?
No,
Dude.
but we should probably do one for the next Fluffernutter.
Oh yeah, I'm totally down
Would it
for a
be
copyright strike. Oh god. So how's life been, man?
Good. Staying busy as normal,
Yeah.
which is always a plus. It's always a plus. It's always a pet peeve, but you get used to it. Today I was talking to somebody, I forget who it was, and I was like, I thought today was Tuesday because of some weird reason. I'm like, oh my god, did I miss it? I was like, oh, and I was like, wait. And I was looking through my messages. I'm like, Andy hasn't hit me up. I'm like, oh man, this is bad.
Whoa.
like, what day is
Andy's
it
not
today?
communicating? That'd be crazy.
Yeah. So it's awkward being your own boss. It's weird because you have no recollection of what time it is. You're like,
Yeah.
whatever, it's today Friday because you work for yourself and every client pays me immediately. So every day is like Friday to me. So it's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, actually, so how'd that go, by the way? That big project? Okay.
So, oh gosh.
You look a little constipated, sir.
Well, the issue, so the big project, right? So we've been at it for a month, not consecutively every single day. We're technically supposed to be done the 28th of February. On your birthday. Woo woo! But
That was a good day.
but we couldn't finish it on Nosy Neighbor. So the guy that contracted us to do the work was supposed to do the legal matters, and he didn't do the proper legal matters because it's a historic house, and they put a stop work on it. So I had to stop working on it. So now I'm behind.
Oh, because of the whole because it's old and
Yeah,
shit.
you're supposed to have you have to have a specific permit and whatnot, and someone, you always got a nosy neighbor. It's like, hey, you're not doing it the right way, and it's like, mind your business, eat your sandwich, like let us work. And they did a stop work on us. The guy's like, "Oh, I need to see what's going on inside the house," and I'm like, "Unfortunately, I can't let you in this home because it's not my property. I'm just contracted to work here." The guy's like, "Oh, well, if you're not gonna let me in, I'll put a stop work on it." I'm like, "Well, do that then." It's like, what? Don't bother me. Like, it's not gonna make me let you. Well, I'm looking out for the guy that contracted me, because what if this city guy takes photos that are gonna get the guy that contracted me in trouble? So I'm gonna look out for my guy. So it's like, sorry, you can't come in. As soon as we left, I locked all the doors, and I was like, bye.
Bro, I just want to point out something. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to focus.
You got a baby sandwich?
Look at how much marshmallow. That's a lot of marshmallow.
Wait, okay, time out. Wait, so what happened with Emily and...
Oh my god, dude, it's so funny, because we literally talked about how, like, I need to talk about this before the live show, and now here I am. Okay, hold on, let me do something, because I want... Actually, I'll do it now, and then I'm going to bring CJ on, the owner of the Mira Image, and so let me bring this up. So, there's a guy I work with, his name is Josh. He's kind of like the dad of Blue Line in a really weird way. You would think that would be like the CEO or something, but it's just, in this case, I don't know, it's hard to explain. The guy, Josh, has 9 kids, and I was like, that's crazy.
He must have not had cable.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm showing him this tomorrow. So, one of his daughters and his wife said that I make Fluffernutters wrong. Or not. It said I build them wrong. They said because I put the peanut butter and the marshmallow on the same side, which I just showed you is what I did. So,
that makes sense. So you put the peanut butter on one slice, and then you put the
marshmallow on the other.
Yeah, and then you go.
Okay, so here's what I have to say about that. It's my show. I own it. And I literally have a show named after it.
You want your show to make your own Fluffernutter live, you do it.
But wow. Emily, let me talk to you directly, Emily. So actually, you're technically not wrong. Most people usually do that. The reason why I stopped doing that is because back in the day, well, not back in the day, but I didn't used to use this. I used to use something called, oh god, who makes marshmallows? Like, really popular company.
Everyone.
Oh god, I don't remember. Anyways, they used to make fluff, and it'd be so sticky it would tear the bread apart. So the only way you could make it is put it on the actual on the peanut butter. So that's the reason why I do that. So love your face, but you're wrong. Okay. So, all right, let's do something. Let's bring CJ on. I'll keep that down because I don't want to bring that up. We don't need 3 of me. All right. So, let me give a preface here. CJ is a friend of mine. We met. I actually don't remember when we met. We'll have to have that conversation when he comes on. But we worked with each other at Rivsu. He was one of the technicians that worked on all the Skylines and all the cars that we imported. And then he went abroad. He started traveling all over the place, and he's now a photographer, and he's really good at what he does. And it's gonna be really fun bringing him on and having a conversation about his travels and reconnecting from our past about our Rivsu days and stuff. So, with that being said, CJ Mira, welcome to Fluffernutter Live, episode 18, man. I forgot I had to unmute him.
Oh, God.
You're unmuted now. So rude.
All right, what's going on, guys?
Did you make a noise and it go like pew, or like?
Yeah, it was like and
Bro.
it was a fail.
What is up, CJ?
Nothing much, man. Just getting.
How's life?
Life's good now. Now that I'm out of Jersey.
God, I know.
Yeah.
I brought this up multiple times.
I almost thought he said, "Now that I'm out of jail," I'm like, ugh.
I mean,
Same thing. You know, sorry, not sorry, but you know.
Yo, you guys, hold up.
What?
There's no color. Hold on.
Oh no, battery died, bro. Should have used Energizer.
It did.
Wow.
Yo, but I got this.
You had wait. So last
battery.
episode, you had expired bread, and now you have an expired battery.
It makes you feel better. I fixed the expired bread.
How do you fix it?
Cross out the expiration date.
That's a good point.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just drew in new numbers and we're all good now. But
Fixed.
so CJ. So
Yeah.
tell us, who are you?
Well, I'm just a random Spanish kid, originally from New York and Jersey area. Lived in Florida for since like 2011 or so, when I was in the automotive industry, dealerships, whatnot, also building my own cars and things like that. And then that's through a roundabout way ended up at Rivsu, where I became in more of the performance aspect, aftermarket, importing stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's where we met.
Rivsu.
Yeah.
Which, if you guys, any of you guys want to do your own research, you guys can see the drama that unfolded with the company after we had all left at that point. Which we won't get into here, but we're like, no. Hold up. Mom's got comments. So, said Johnny is on. Things just got cooler.
Ew. Hi, Mom.
Mom, you better show love to the guest, okay? Johnny's not everything. And she also said marshmallow is easier to spread on the peanut butter versus the bread. So, Emily, that's another reason why, because I came from my mom, and she does things right as well. So are you saying that my mom's wrong? Because now we got problems now.
Mama said knock you out.
Dude, you guys, I'm pretty sure Emily's like 8.
We're bullying an 8-year-old on a marshmallow, and oh my gosh, this is horrible. Okay, this is going viral.
Oh god, I know. I'm so screwed. Fluffernutter Live canceled before it could even go anywhere. So, so let's do this. Let's start from the beginning. Let's chronologically go through this about how we all met each other at whatever point that came to be. When I remember meeting you, I think at a restaurant, and you had that god awful loud 240 that you had built.
We actually met in Tampa when you guys for Hot Import Nights.
Yeah, because we went to a restaurant that same night.
Yeah, we went that night, but I was also there throughout
at the event. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I didn't know which one came first. I didn't remember. So so you had I forget, what did you have? You had a VQ motor in it, right?
A VH.
VH. Wait, is VQ even a motor? God. Yes. It is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a V6. I have a V8.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And that comes from what? Mm-hmm. What vehicle does that come from?
Infinity Q45.
Oh, okay.
Very famous by Nas.
So you, we met at Tampa, Hot Import Nights. Johnny, you weren't working with us at that point, right?
No, I was not.
No.
Dude.
Yeah, he came much later.
CJ, were you there in the daytime?
Yeah.
Or did you, okay. Do you remember the guy that was running it was wasted and running around on a 4-wheeler? Dude, so Johnny, I don't know if you know about this. So we're at this car show, and this dude's running around on a 4-wheeler, and I'm not shitting you, he is wasted. And he is the guy that's making the event happen. He is like the coordinator. And one of the times when we knew it, we knew for sure he was wasted. You know that little Rivsu tent we always pop up? That we always put like everywhere. So we had the Rivsu tent popped up. He drove his little 4-wheeler right into the fucking tent and was like, "Oh, my bad." Dude. And it takes a lot because we were far from shit. Like it takes effort to hit that shit. So it was hold up. I see something. 2 seconds. Hold up. Credit Cardo, I'm gonna hit you because you know you shouldn't be on Instagram. You should be on YouTube.
Ooh, got him.
You better get on there. Okay, and then we got Jet Puffed. That's the one thing. Is the marshmallow brand he was talking about. So you guys know what I'm talking about, do you?
I was gonna say State Puffed marshmallow, but I was like, that's Ghostbusters.
Oh god, this is clearly a white people thing. Mom says CJ looks like a mafia guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a compliment, I guess.
You look like you earned your way through life illegally.
Oh, man.
Wrong.
Let's not incriminate ourselves here.
Yeah, I know, right? That'd be really bad.
It's okay. Those charges dropped off.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we met at Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brian brought you on, right? Brian was the reason why you came on to Ripsy, right?
Yeah, I got Brian the job. Well, I told Brian about the job because he had no idea what Ripsy was. So he got it. And then he brought me on when things became too much for him to handle. That's why I was at Tampa trying to just be like, I'm your next guy. What's up? You know?
So, and then you got hired on.
Yeah.
When did you meet Johnny?
Johnny, I met
when did you
As
meet?
I was doing photography and I saw his car outside, and I was like, yeah, it's a loud ass car. He was trying to drift in the parking lot because it was after hours, or he was drifting, but he was doing something weird. And I was like, oh, cool. I think I took a photo of his car, said what's up to him, talked to him a bit, but that's how I met him. And then little by little, I started interacting with him within the shop as I was doing photography.
Yeah.
For Rivsu. Yeah. And then
Wait,
that was
so
before
were
I got
you
hired on for them.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. I was like, I didn't know if you were an employee or not at the time.
No, because I started doing photography for them, and then they would pay me for the photos, for the photo shoots, and then eventually they were like, "Why don't we just put you on salary?" And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, might as well. And you went to sales. Wait, did you go to? I don't remember. Did you go to sales first or marketing?
No, I was in marketing first, marketing and doing photography. Sales was after. The whole thing.
Yeah, that's too bad. What I know now from marketing, I wish I knew then. Like the amount of God, it'd be so amazing. Like the things we could have done. Ugh.
You did great things though. You freaking killed it. So don't take credit away from yourself. Like you killed it. Oh my god!
God, I remember Anna used to do that shit all the time. Like anytime she would do something wrong or she had a favor, she'd be like, "Hey, I got a question," and it'd be like, "Oh, fine, I'll give you everything you want." Like, oh, CJ, calm, no, bad. Oh, let's see here, Ricardo Torres. It's another Fluffernutter episode. Hell yeah, it is. Hey. God, if aliens watch this, okay. We're just yelling at computer screens. Let's see. Definitely meant as a compliment, CJ. So my mom's complimenting you.
Aw, so, thanks, Mom.
Don't take that too far. So
she'll call you on the next hit.
Okay, so then you left Rivsu. Where did you go after Rivsu?
After Rivsu, I was kind of in that limbo stage. So I went back into the dealership world for a few months until I literally had it enough. And that's when I had the defining moment was we had a slow week. It was slow season. We weren't making any money. I was sitting on my toolbox. It was like 1:00 in the afternoon. I hadn't had a car yet. And I got there at like 6:30 in the morning. And, I'd been contemplating how I can travel a little bit more and what I can do. And I was in a very distinct crossroads with what I was unhappy with the industry. I was still, not as gung-ho about it after I injured my hand. And I was talking to my buddy.
How'd you injure your hand?
My buddy was, I shattered my hand on the job. Yeah, this is predates Rivsu. Yeah. But ever since then, I didn't have that same level of like gusto and hunger on the tech side of things. That's kind of why I wanted to go into parts more when I was at Rivsu, because I'm like, I want to get out of destroying my body. I want to do something bigger.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to my buddy, and he's doing a round the world backpacking trip. And he's asking me how my day is going. I'm like, oh, it's good. And I'm like, how's your day going? He's like, oh, my day's going pretty good. And he sends me a selfie from the summit of Kilimanjaro. Obviously not there because there's no service, but like it was shortly after he came down, and I'm like, I'm out. So literally, I had another friend that lived in Prague teaching English. I asked him for the information. Within 2 hours, I booked everything, and I started selling shit off.
Man,
and you
dedicated.
So you taught English.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yep. So, did you have to go through a course for that, or were you just like, hey, because you're from America, you're good?
That was the most part. Any native English-speaking teacher, they teach you how to teach English, because the way you teach English has no way, in any way, shape, or form, how we learned it.
Correct. Yeah.
So really,
we had to teach that, and then I went to Prague. I was only going to stay there for like a month and travel around. I stayed there almost 2 years, or just shy of it.
You were in Prague for 2 years?
Like a year and a half.
Jesus, I didn't know it went by that fast. I thought you were only there for a couple of months.
Nah. Because then when I came back,
he had his citizenship. He was good.
And then 'cause when I came back, I basically had a couple months where I was just prepping to go on the cruise ship, and then I went on the cruise ship.
So
Yeah.
how did that work
How was
with
that?
your? Yeah, go ahead. How was that?
What, the cruise ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best, worst time of my life.
So elaborate.
Because we're living in Hawaii. Like, obviously, we're on the ship, but we're circumventing the islands. That's all we're doing. So we're like, you don't get to see Hawaii like that unless you're living there or you have the money to just vacation there all the time. So, free room and board, free food, albeit not the best, but it was fun. But then again, your day off was the day you got on the ship and the day you left the ship. So you worked 7 days a week, 12 hours a day on the low end. So
That's crazy. So there's no labor laws clearly on the international waters.
No.
Just
This is
nope.
actually, our ship was the only U.S. flag ship in the world.
Wait, what?
Interesting.
It's the
Yeah,
only
because most of them
US
are like
flag cruise ship.
converted to Nassau or something.
Yeah, they're all like Bahamas or international companies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only one.
Oh.
Even though it's Norwegian, it's the only U.S. flagship.
Weird. I didn't know that.
That's why it doesn't have to touch international water, so we just stay in Hawaii.
So back in Prague, right? How does that work with the whole visa thing? Like, right? Because you're an American citizen. So at some point, could you just be like, "Fuck it, I'm staying here. I'm going to stay in Prague," or would you
There are
eventually got kicked
ways
out?
to stay and going through your permanent residency and citizenship. I didn't want to go through that with Czech Republic, but it is fairly easy. And I got a work visa, so that's how I was able to get into the country. Had I found like a girlfriend there, it's retardedly easy how simple that process is to get a visa there. Yeah.
Johnny, you look evil, man.
Whereas Australia is the exact opposite.
That's crazy because eventually, so this will tie into Australia, right? Whatever happened to you in Australia and why you had to come back to America.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that here in a second. So you eventually got to. You said you went to the cruise ship. What happened after the cruise ship? How long were you not in America?
About 3 years total in the 5 or 6 that I've been gone, I think.
Okay,
No,
so
4 years.
So you came back
No,
at
3
some
years.
point.
Yeah. Yeah, I came back for the meantime until I was on the ship. Then I was on the ship. I was also in Montana for about 5 months waiting. And then when I got back from the ship before Australia, I was in the Florida Keys for about 4 or 5 months.
Interesting. Okay. So then eventually, at what point did you end up getting to Australia?
I left to Australia October 2019.
Okay, so that's when you went to Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then a couple months later, the world famous COVID hit, and I assume that had some effect on you.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So what did that look like?
4 walls.
4 walls. Sums it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, when I got to Australia, it was amazing. It was like the time of my life. I got there, hit the ground running. I did a week-long tour with this company there, which I ended up working with on a couple of other media projects. Great guys, and I can't wait to go work with them again when I get down there. And I had about 2.5 months solid of just the best momentum I've had. Got my apartment, set up my studio, set up a business or their version of like an LLC. So I did everything legit. Then come around New Year's, the country started burning. So Australia they had the brush fires.
Literally, though, yeah.
it literally was.
Burning like
The entire country. So we were on a lockdown since almost New Year's. Depending on where you were at least for Melbourne. Melbourne, we weren't as affected, but the pollution was really bad. So they were like, kind of just stay inside. And then
so before all that, though, right? Because that happened, then literally like COVID happened right after, I guess. But before all that, like, what did you end up doing in Australia? What did you do? Like, what were you doing for work? I guess you were working for that company, but like, what did you do?
Well, I was full on freelancing. Everything was running through my brand. so working with that tour company, that was just like they would hire me out to do certain projects. And then my biggest break was I started being the exclusive content creator for one of Melbourne's biggest fashion designers. So
Oh, so
yeah,
that's how I was curious about that. How you somehow tied into shooting like legit worldwide fashion shows.
yeah.
So
Well, I started
I
that before actually, because this happened after the cruise ship. One of my friends from the cruise ship, she's actually a runway model. Her name is Kelsey Pearson out of Colorado, and we actually joined the ship or the training for the ship at the same time. And this is when I started, like just starting doing like my first portraits. I was just
Yeah.
before that I was just landscape, street, and stuff like that. And so we planned a Puerto Rico trip after I got off the ship, and in that trip, like she trained me basically on her view of how a photographer interacts in the industry. So I learned
Okay.
a lot of things hands-on early on that most photographers have to work in the industry 6 months to a year, if at all, to gain. I had
Yeah.
that right away because I was seeing it from the other side. Then we had another trip to Miami where she was walking in Miami Swim Week. One of the events I was accompanying her because I was just shooting her, and the guy saw I had a camera. He was like, "Yo, have at it, like
You
grab
just
some girls, shoot." And then at one point, I remember they were in a pool. No one, the photographer, there's maybe 10 other photographers, videographers there. Nobody else was in the water. So I was like, no one else is going to have these shots. So I literally
Yeah.
rolled up my pants, camera strapped up, and walked into the middle of the pool with my camera and did the shoot from that point of view.
What camera did you have at the time?
That's pretty
I
gangster.
had my A7 III at the time.
Okay, so so for those that aren't camera savvy, we're talking like a multi-$1,000 camera he's messing around with right now. Like that's what we're
In the
talking
water.
about. Yeah, just playing around water.
With no insurance at the time. But when I walked out, him and like the hotel manager were just like, "All right, you're gonna be here all week," and we're like, "Yeah, she's got multiple events." She was like, "Cool, you're shooting too." So I ended up getting to shoot multiple events for that
opportunity.
week, and that was my big break into fashion. So when I got to Melbourne, a buddy of mine connected me with her, and as soon as I said, "Yeah, I've done fashion, I've done this and that," so she got me in there. So we worked with huge brands. Her personal brand, we worked with Furla, which is like a big like kind of like Gucci, kind of like bag and accessory company.
Yeah.
We also shot Glamour on the Grid, which is the fashion show the night before F1.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was called that, but I was familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with that event, I also shot, so it was that night. And then we also I got to shoot Melbourne Fashion Week with her. So she headlined her own show. So I got to shoot that as well. So now I have 2 major fashion weeks under my belt.
Jeez.
And then that night we had F1. Then I got invited to shoot the F1 races the next 3 days, which doesn't happen as like unless you're part of a media corporation or big media name for F1. I just in front of the right people. And then the next morning, the world ended. Literally the next morning.
So Johnny, what were you gonna say?
You're a car guy, right? So you went
Yeah.
from cars to, I wouldn't say the totally different end of a spectrum, because obviously photography is involved in the automotive world. But what got you interested in photography? Like you were when I knew you, you were gung ho cars, and you were, striving to be in the part sale side, and then boom, you got into photography, and it's like you blew up. Like what,
bro?
For some people, they don't know, right? They don't understand what would interest someone.
What had happened was, so in Prague, I was doing everything. I was teaching English, like I had private students, and I was also teaching English for a preschool. So I was an actual de facto preschool teacher.
He's fucking up a whole generation of people in Prague.
But also, I was also bartending. I started bartending as well. So I'm doing that at night. And through that, I found this one guy who's American. So we immediately talked. He was working for FIA World Rallycross in Europe. And we started talking, and like he knew my background, and I was like, "Oh yeah." And once we were clearly drunk and inebriated and whatnot. But he was just like, oh yeah, we might have a position. Just send me your CV, and we'll go from there. CV's resume over there, and
Yeah.
I keep my resume on my phone at all times, and it was still very automotive based. So I just sent it to him, and then like 2 a.m, he's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "I'm closing up the bar." He was like, "Meet me right now in the town square." He
He's
meets
gonna
me.
kill
He's
you.
like,
He's gonna kill you.
so I'm like, I have to walk
right?
that way.
You're in a whole different place in the world. It's like, meet me right
So-
now. You're like, oh god.
He was the head coordinator. He was basically the number 2 guy for the fuel team. It's P1 Racing Fuels. So basically, they're like a competitor of VP, but they have the contract for FIA. And he was like, "We're going to Belgium literally like this weekend. Can you go?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't work weekends. I basically
If I
make my
have
schedule."
to.
He was like, "Cool." So basically, I was part of the fuel
Pull my
analysis
arm.
team. Yeah, so we went every month. They would all expense paid, hotels, rental car to all these European countries. At least once or two times a month, we were going. So I probably hit 9 countries with them alone. So working with all these big names, all the huge rally cross drivers, I got to meet everybody.
Yeah.
Alistair McRae, Colin McRae's brother. If you know anything about like rally and like Subaru, like got to meet him. Ken Block, Sebastian Lowe, like huge names in rallycross. I'm just literally there all the time with them.
So you know what the real praise is
Fangirl,
here.
bro.
So you went through all this, right? You had all these achievements, but what really matters is that my mom decided to give you a compliment and say, "What an interesting life you had, CJ, and you're still so young. I'm jealous. You've done it, dude. You've essentially peaked at life.
Yeah.
You can't go beyond this, beyond my mom's compliments." Was that a mic drop? Did you drop an actual mic?
There's a lens cap up.
Oh, okay.
I'm going home. I'm going home.
But yeah, so the thing was, what got me into photography was I was in Norway, and our hotel was basically in a fjord. And I got to definitely see all the detail because we were there during the eternal summer. So it's like 3 a.m, it's noon outside, like getting it done. So I'm sitting there taking photos of like on my little Czech burner phone that had like -4 pixels. And I'm like, I'm going to all these places. I was like, I need something better than this, or like something that's not as cumbersome as like a GoPro.
Yeah.
So I started researching cameras, and I had a friend that was using Canon, this and that, and then Sony kind of caught my eye. I don't know what caught my eye about it, but I started researching the A6000.
Yeah.
Started researching that, and I was like, this seems like a good camera. And so I got the A6000, got it used. It was damn near brand new. 2 lenses, 2 kit lenses. And so I learned all the specs about that, especially coming from building engines and stuff. I was like, I need to know specs and numbers on it. But I didn't know how to use it. So I basically just kept going to the zoo and would shoot around the city and just shoot random shit.
Yeah.
And then little by little, that kind of just spiraled down a rabbit hole that I wasn't prepared for, and it turned into something I actually really enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
And then, I found one YouTuber. At the time, he wasn't so big. He was blowing up, but his name is Peter McKinnon. And now
Wait a
he's on
second.
Like the biggest freaking photography YouTuber, and like, okay.
Well, when I started following him, he was under 1 million subscribers still. So I was just like, who's this tattooed dude that's just screaming at the camera? I'm like, cool, I like him. And literally have watched every video he's put out since.
Yeah.
So he got me into the love of photography and videography, but my travels are what kind of inspired that. And then it just snowballed. And I had no interest in shooting people. I have no interest in fashion. I just wanted to do landscapes and like street. But
okay. So this ties into like a really good point here, because Johnny, you have like we talked about this beforehand, that you have a question for CJ that it's a really deep question. So this is actually perfect. I'm curious to see what you'd say about it now.
Okay.
So pretty much knowing what you know now, based on the places you've been around the world, what's your biggest takeaway about life?
Biggest takeaway about life? Just say yes. And just fucking book the ticket. Book the ticket.
Fair.
It's most people, especially when it comes to travel, most people think it's this grandiose thing that like I gotta save up for years to do. It takes so much money. I'm like, yeah, it does, but I've been able to live traveling for the most part, whether it's across the United States or abroad, for not much money. I work
Yeah, but
where I
how?
go.
So I really
I
want to break
work
that
where I
down,
go.
right? Correct, right? But even then, right?
Yeah.
Let's if anybody watches this and has the same curiosity that I do, right? There is something inside of me, which is why I'm doing my huge real estate stuff because I want to be free, right? So I can
Yeah.
have that choice to be able to do that. Now, here's the thing, though: is you don't have properties under your belt. You are not financially free, right? You
Correct.
still did it. You still traveled. So the question comes into play: how is that possible, right? How is it possible for someone like I can't do that right now because I'm under contract. I'm literally have a job, right? But
Yeah.
but outside of that, like if someone did have that opportunity, how is it that they can just choose to leave, start selling their stuff in the next 2 hours, and head for Prague? How is it that they can start doing that?
And
Well, for
better
me,
question would be also to tie into that question is
Mhm.
how can they do that, right? And then what steps would you recommend if they are in that process of doing that, right? What steps do you recommend for them to do that would put them at ease?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was very easy just with how I was growing up. I grew up living out of boxes. We moved around all the time. So being nomadic for me is second nature. And then also growing up on the lower end, like not I wouldn't say we weren't poor. We were poor. Growing up in the ghetto, like single mother, like we struggled throughout our whole life. So me struggling with money or not knowing where my next dollar is coming in, that's my normal. I idle at poverty level, like mentality wise. So when
Yeah,
shit hits the fan, I don't panic. So I can be in
yeah.
another country during a pandemic with no aid from either and be like, cool.
So
Other
Okay.
people they're like, oh shit, like I only have 2 grand left. I need to get back home. I can't do this. Like it's
but did times get hard? Did you have
yeah, oh yeah,
moments?
definitely. Yeah, I definitely had moments where I was just like, oh damn, like I had no money. What am I gonna do? This and that. But at least for me, when I'm backed into that corner, I always find a way to do something. You know?
Yeah, that's something that I think Tahir has that same mentality because Tahir and I were opposites when it came to Guardian Wraps, and that was one of the big things, right? So here I am, I come into the picture, and I'm now giving him structure for his finances,
Yeah.
and that was always Tahir's perspective on it was like, hey, like if I get backed into a corner, I have always found a way to figure it out, right? But
Mhm.
I've always had the mentality where I'm the opposite end, where I'm like, no, I don't want to ever be put in that position because I live, which I don't know, I don't have any way to prove this. I always felt that I think life can do to you whatever it wants to, and that
Yeah.
it could get really bad, right? But I don't know because
Mhm.
I meet people like yourself and Tahir that have gone through these same scenarios, and they're like, "Dude, you put me in a corner. I'm gonna figure out how to do it." And
Exactly.
I think Craig is probably even that way as well.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's interesting that people just have different ways
Yeah.
of living about that. So
Exactly. And for me, like I never wanted the quintessential like I didn't want before I was 30. I didn't want to establish myself. I was in a career for almost 10 years and then completely left it. So obviously I wasn't trying to build that. I had nothing holding me down. I
yeah,
lived away from family, so for me, like I had no tethers to just up and go. It was scarier for me to stay than it was to go. And it still is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So why
yeah.
would you say it's
So
scarier to stay than to go? Is it just simply because you didn't have anything lined up at the moment here and you felt like you had more opportunities leaving or
no, because the scary part isn't the opportunities. I never wanted to settle for life. I don't want a mundane life.
Mhm.
Even if I'm not making anything, but as long as I'm living it by my design on my accord,
Mm.
to some extent, I'm happy. Like since I've left
So
Rivsu
go ahead.
and the automotive industry, I've made exponentially less every year across the board. But I've been exponentially happier across the board, even throughout the pandemic.
Yeah, I think this ties
Yeah.
into Gary Vee always makes this comments that he has friends who are millionaires who are not happy, but he has other friends who are just like the most that they do is that they coach their daughter's soccer game and like they're the happiest people in the world.
Exactly.
I'm really curious. I want to get your perspective on something. So I know you're
Mhm.
familiar with what I'm doing, this whole financial
Yeah.
like trying to do real estate and stuff.
Mhm.
So what in your world? How come like something like that doesn't catch your eye? Like why doesn't financial independence catch your eye, or does it? and it's just something you haven't pursued.
It does. It's just something I haven't pursued yet. I'm building the steps to that through growing the Mira Image. So once I
Got
can
it.
grow that, that's going to be the tipping point to roll the boulder off the hill, you know?
Okay. So actually, that's a good segue into. So just for you guys that are watching, the Mira Image is CJ's company. We'll dive into the details of what it is here in a second. It's not Mirror, it's Mira. So Mike, India, Romeo, Alpha is how you spell it. Just don't get all crazy. Don't actually search Mike, India, Romeo. But that's just how you spell it. And it's because that is CJ's last name. And so he developed a company called the Mira Image. And so what I'm curious about, man, in your perspective, is it as simple as a videography, photography company? Is it a media company, or is it something more than that? What is it to you?
It's as in its current iteration, it is just photo video company, but
Okay.
it's basically how I view the world, of what it's going to grow into. So it's going to be a full media house in general. So whether I'm producing documentaries, which I have several series in the works, and I have one big passion project that I'm basically all this is laying the groundworks for. Because I
Yeah.
don't feel I'm at the skill level to do that justice yet. So when I am, then I'm ready to tell that specific story. And I do have a partner in that as well. So that's what all this is kind of leading into. So combining my love of travel, but also the things that I've gone through, and some of the tragedies that I've gone through in my life and what others do as well.
Yeah.
So basically, I just want to tell stories, whether it's through my personal photography or just helping others create and tell their stories.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something about that. And just for you guys that know, Johnny was also a photographer, which I don't know if you're getting back into it, Johnny, or not, which I know it's not a priority for you or anything. But Johnny was a photographer as well, as you guys may have picked up, especially watching it from, at Rivsea, you were that. Before that, it was Rooks Mag, and you were shooting a lot of car events and stuff like that. Are you actually going to get back into photography, Johnny?
I am once the dust settles of running a company. Just because being a new business owner, it's hard to understand your limitations, like how thin you can spread yourself. But yeah, it's always been a passion of mine. I've always loved photography. I've always loved to catch. My genre was candid photography, so I love to catch people in the act. I felt like it was way more natural than just telling someone, "Hey, sit there and smile." You know what I mean? Because that in itself, like CJ saying, that captures a story. For example, like a grandma fishing with their granddaughter, and that's a story in itself where she's teaching her granddaughter how to fish. And she's gonna learn. She's gonna remember that for a lifetime. So
Yeah.
it's always been a passion of mine. It's just again, letting the dust settle, and once it does, then I'll pick up a camera. I'm a Sony guy. I used to be a Canon guy, and now I love Sony. I had
Word
an
has it Canon's
A6000.
coming back.
Supposedly, I hope, right? Because Canon, the 5D Mark III, 5D Mark II, epic cameras,
Yeah.
and it's like then it's just like they just
Yeah, they
I don't
just
know
didn't
what happened.
catch up with Sony. So.
And then
They've caught
mirrorless
up. They've caught up, but Sony is still
Sony's on another level,
has my
man.
heart,
Those
So-
creamy, buttery photos.
This is what's interesting too, is that on the photography side, photography is a weakness of mine. I don't understand the concept. And now that I've picked up this media position at Blue Line, I have to actually do photography sometimes. And I had to take headshots of certain people, and I'm just like lost. And what's interesting about that is you have to have like a perspective to be able to understand that. Like you guys have a knack to be able to take a picture of something and see a story from a still image. Whereas for me, like videography has always been my thing because that's always been my way of being able to tell a story. It's just for whatever reason it works for me that way. So I was going to ask something about, oh God, there was a perfect segue because Johnny was
brain fart.
Oh God, I'll have to. I need an animation for that.
Yep.
What was it?
Well,
yes, I remember.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So I know you can't talk about a lot of it, CJ. Right, but you're not there. This isn't just the Mira Image you're involved with right now. You're doing something with a friend of yours, which I'll leave it up to you what details you want to convey. But you do have something going on in Orlando that you're doing.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so friend of mine is opening up his own business. So basically, his weakness is my strength. You know, when it comes to media presence, social interaction, like he's better on just doing what the job needs him to do.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm going to be the face of the company, the voice of it, you know, basically the CCO of it, and just kind of help that identity just flourish.
Yeah.
Still in conjunction with the Mira Image, but growing that specifically as well.
Got it. And can you talk about exactly what it is he's doing?
Yeah, he's opening up his own performance shop. Yep.
Okay.
So I'll be basically just taking that, and we've been working on it for quite a while, at least the framework, but now it's more focused on his brand.
Got it. Which I think is good because so Johnny and I are aware of who this friend is. But I guess for right now we're not saying names, and we're very aware that this is something that he's needed to do for a very long time. So he has been screwed over on multiple occasions, and that guy needs his break. And I think entrepreneurship will definitely do it for him. Now, whether or not it's going to break him even more, because that dude is stressed.
it's definitely going to break him, but in a good way. At least,
in a good
if
way.
It's breaking him, it's because it's his own stuff. He's not breaking himself for someone else.
Yeah. And I can agree to that. I think I've been. Carmen Quattro's out here.
Carmen Quattro.
Hey, yo.
Go ahead and say what you're going to say, Johnny. I'll say this question in a second.
I was going to say, I think that being in business has made me happier than working for someone, as much as it sounds like. I'm grateful for having an employer at one point. But I think even though if I make a little more or a little less than what I used to make, it still makes me happier because I run the show.
Yeah.
And I say yes, and I say no, and I do what I want to do and need to do to move myself forward. So I think it'll be amazing for him because he'll be in control versus having someone telling him what to do. So
exactly.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting too. It's holy crap, you guys, we're already 47 minutes into this. We're gonna have to do a part 2 and get CJ to come back on and talk about the Subi. And actually, at that point, whatever status you're at with this company, maybe you can talk about it more. Maybe we can do a collaboration, you and Brian, but
maybe a walkthrough. Ew.
Yeah, exactly. Literally exactly what you did with Tier.
Yeah.
But that shit was so on point.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So, Carmen, I understand you. What kind of camera do you use for your new marketing position at Blue Line? So I use an A6500. It's a Sony camera, and if you hold up, Carmen says, "Johnny, what's up, man?"
Hey yo.
Sony. We're all Sony. So it's funny. There's a company we work with, and there's a girl I work with. Her name is Sharon, and she does photography for that company. And I'm pretty sure, she's a Canon girl. So, and I'm like, but she does photography. So I don't know. All I know is this: anybody that watches this and they're interested in videography equipment, you do not need to get a red camera. You don't need to get the biggest, greatest camera in the world. Literally, the A6400, when that came out, that was a big deal. And that's a model technically under mine. And that came out like a year later. And that's a good camera. Like, that'll do better than almost most cameras. I started with a freaking T3i, right? And like that was like... Yeah. God,
the Rebel.
Dude, it was impossible to get quality out of that. Like, but I did it. Bad. And at the time, it was good. And even now, these Sony cameras, like this camera is 3 years old now because I had it when I started Mavic Visuals. So, and it's
probably
still,
like
dude, it's
6
still
years old
amazing.
in its production.
So it's doing amazing. Mom says, "This is admirable, running your own business, Johnny. I would not have the courage." Yeah. Mom's she's a lifer. She's getting that retirement though. So she's living a life right now that
get that pension, girl. Get that pension, girl.
Hey, no, she what's kind of funny is right now her job's like really, really slow, and so she gets to just like chill. She doesn't have to do much, and she gets paid really well for it.
So whatever.
Yeah. So God, mom's doing really well right now. Cool. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, and Johnny and I will finalize the rest of it. For CJ, is there anything else you wanted to say? Any comments? Because we're going to do a part 2 for sure. We're going to have to catch up and go over more things.
Yeah, because we haven't even really scratched the surface of much.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about your Subaru, man.
Yeah.
Just for the tease, so what's the model of the Subaru so people can know?
It's a 2001 GC8 or GC6
Yeah.
technically, but it's the first gen, last year of the first gen.
Yeah. And then from there, yeah, so I guess we'll figure that out because I know you're continuously building it. And I assume you being connected with Brian and now with Tahir and everything, I assume you're gonna have some options to do with your car. So
Exactly. Yeah. That all just depends on how quick I get back to Australia, because once the borders open up, I'm like, bye, Subi.
All right, man. So the red carpet's yours, man. Do you have any plugs you want to say? Anything you want to tell the people before you get off? The 6 people that are watching, because we're just crazy over here, man.
Oh my god,
Oh, man.
we can almost fit in one car.
Oh god. But yeah, do you have anything you want to say?
No, just stay tuned. Looking forward to part 2. Let's do this again, because like I said, we barely scratched the surface with everything. And hopefully I have much more updates then, and I have a lot. With that company as well as my own, the Mira Image, going like full LLC probably next week. So, little things,
Cool. So
just trying to
how can they
become
how
the
can they
hoonigan
follow
of
you?
Florida.
How can they follow
Best
you?
way is on Instagram at the Mira Image, Mira Image, and then or check me out on my website www.themiraimage.com.
Cool stuff.
YouTube
man.
also coming soon.
YouTube's coming soon. Yeah, and eventually, well, no, that won't matter. But maybe you can get into your own live. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, all right, brother.
Role
Well, it was
reversal.
nice seeing you, man. And we'll
Likewise.
talk to you later.
Definitely later.
See you, brother. Okay, so Johnny. It's gonna play the song. Shit.
When the game on the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
Oh god, I forgot about that song, and I can still CJ's still on, and I can see him dancing. CJ, Deuce's brother, I'm hanging out,
we have
man.
to get him. We have to get him a song of some sort.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like a mafioso song,
Yeah. It is interesting seeing what's come from our, because I remember the day that it was you, me, it was Reed. I don't remember all who was there, but we were sitting in that parking lot of Rivsea. We were talking about, man, it's going to be crazy coming back here in 10 years, reconnecting and seeing, where everybody's at. So, and clearly things are going places, man. Everybody's making their moves right now. It just took a little bit to get to the point of where we're at now.
Yeah.
So, but
it's crazy. I always told myself that I'd be 35. I wanted to be my own boss by the age of 35. I found a little folder and I had all my goals, and I was like, oh, I want to be my own boss. I want to run a business at 35. And then I ended up doing it, and I found it last week, and I'm like, oh my gosh. It's now my birthday's birthday's in April, and it's man, I'm gonna be 34, so a year early. That's cool.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy, but I was showing people at work have you seen that it's a calendar where you fill in the week of your life, and it shows the amount of weeks that you have in your life, and you just keep filling in each week that's passed by? Have you ever seen that before?
Until you die?
Yeah, it literally, think of it like
That's so depressing. You're like, man, I got 4 more weeks.
Well, see, and that's the thing, right? Is it depends on your perspective. Almost everybody I meet is that way, right? They look at that and they're like, dude, that shit's depressing. But for me, it's just, I look at it and I'm like, dude, I still have a huge portion of my life left. In the life that I've lived so far, half of it I wasn't even a conscious adult. So it's kind of like,
I mean, if you think about it, yes. You think back to what you know now and what you didn't know, let's say, even 5 years ago. You're like, whoa, big change.
It is nuts to think about it, right? What you've lived so far with our generation's lifespan, we're going to have to relive that at least 3 more times unless you get hit by a bus. So it's going to be... Yeah. Don't forget, Florida has the highest pedestrian kill rate,
Well, I don't walk, so I'm good. But I think... But in another way of thinking, right? I think you can use that calendar and be like, man, okay, another week down, and let me make next week even better than last week, and then better than the week before that, better than the week before. So you're always growing, and you're using that as a motivation. So.
Yeah, and like I said, it just depends. If it is going to depress you, clearly don't use something like that, right? So it's like
3 weeks to go. Oh man.
Yeah, maybe it's dangerous for some people. They start doing some dangerous shit. Like, oh god.
2 weeks, whatever. You ever got doing 200 on I-4? No, let's do
it. Oh god. But so I'll go ahead and I have some Instagram questions. I don't know if you have any other questions that you wanted to go over before I get into that really quick.
I don't know, man. I have a fun fact.
What?
Did you know Florida has a snow season? But it's not the snow you would think. See, as a landscaper, the leafy season is like Florida snow season. Yeah. No. We get paid. It's hilarious. I just did it for a guy, right? So I just went, and the guy's like, hey, man, I have leaves all over the place. Can you it was in one area, but he's like, can you just clean it up for me? And I was like, cool, yeah, I got you. And it was like 12 bags of leaves later, I got paid. And and literally this time now, people will hire companies like mine to go and clean up their leaves from the yard because they're everywhere. So it's like Florida snow. Yeah.
It's not like snow. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, of course, obviously, I grew up in Massachusetts, so I'm aware.
Yeah.
But I mean, you go and rake that leaf up, it looked just as big as one of those snow piles. You'd be like, man, you never cleaned your leaves. Yeah, I didn't. It was interesting.
That's crazy.
A landscaper told me that. I was like, okay, that's whatever. But I thought it was.
It's weird that you got hired for that too, because you would think that they would hire a landscaper and not a debris and removal type stuff.
Well, I mean, it's a debris to an extent, right? So it was I did debris removal for the guy, and then he's like, hey, what all do you do? And I'm like, well, I do anything and everything pretty much, because I'm connected with landscapers, and I've done some landscaping with those people, and I kind of know what it entails. So it's cleanup. I do yard cleanups in itself, so it's part of the yard cleanup category for me.
Interesting. Yeah, because that's interesting that that even become a job for you. I didn't think that would be a thing. So, okay, so I'm gonna I had some questions, which I don't know. Maybe you'll chime in on them. We'll figure this out. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to figure out a flow for this show, and Johnny and I kind of decided that we'll bring the guest on and talk to them first, and we'll have a conversation with them, and kind of go from there about what's about the guest, right? Not about us. And then at the end, we'll get rid of the guest, get rid of them, and then and then him and I would have our conversations with each other about life and just in general. I did have people I only have 4 questions from Instagram. One of them was asking about how are we going to store 100 planes? So that's a really good question because I don't know the answer to that.
The new building.
I'm pretty sure if our current place, the current hangars that we have, the new ones, if we don't rent, there's other hangars at the airport, right? That maybe we'll rent out. I don't know. Maybe we'll knock them all down and just completely buy the airport. I don't know how it'll work.
Baller,
bro! This is a $16 million facility. So I mean, it's not that crazy, but. So yeah, we're supposed to get. It's not. So technically, we're not getting 100 aircraft. Technically, we're getting 50 aircraft, and we're getting those over a period of 5 years. And then the remaining 50, if it gets crazy, we can pull those in. So essentially, Diamond puts them on hold for us, and we can bring those in when we need to. But either way, even 50 aircraft, right? Our current fleet, I think. I actually don't remember how many planes we have right now. We have quite a few. Man. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Bad.
But. I actually don't know how we're going to store them. I honestly think Trey, the owner of Blue Line, is just going to end up buying a bunch of hangars at Johnson County and just storing them that way. So, because
it'd be great. Just be like, just buy a small airport, run it, and this is Blue Line's airport.
Dude, it's going to be. We have an upcoming event at JNX. So JNX is, which by the way is another question. JNX is the airport that we're going to, and called Johnson County. And I so bad on the grand opening for this facility. I'm hoping that I can have a car show there and then open the runway and have people do quarter-mile drags and stuff like that.
Horrible.
That'd be so bad.
But whatever,
So the other question someone asked is, what does JNX stand for? So all airports have a 4-digit identifier. It's called an ICAO code. So, for example, in Orlando, that airport is called KMCO. So Kilo Mike Charlie Oscar, right? And I think I saw you smirk a little bit every time. Like you're holding it back because I was spelling that out.
Bro, leave
Kilo
him.
Mike. So Orlando is that. Orlando is literally that's its identifier. When we set up flight plans, that's what we type in. JNX is the place we're going to. That's the airport in Johnson County, and the K that's in front of it indicates that it's a U.S. airport. So almost all airports in America have the K in front of it. Not all of them, but most do. And then someone asked if I have siblings. I do, which is weird that I've never been. I don't even know if I should have answered that. That feels personal. Are we on a date right now?
Yeah, siblings? Boy or girl? She girl? She look good? She married?
No, stop that. I will kill you.
No,
I do have a
me.
sister.
I ain't
Not
I'm married.
you.
I'm good. No. I'm like, man, this guy like really dark.
No.
Quick.
Yeah, I have a half sister, and so yeah, her name's Courtney. Maybe I'll bring her on here one time. I don't know. She might be too nervous to do a live feed. I'm not sure.
Yo, Courtney, come through.
Come through.
What does that mean?
And then someone asked, how are you getting ATC in your videos? It's just a connection. Think of it like I'm plugging in something in between my headset and the comm ports on the plane. And that's how I'm able to pick it up. Do what? Oh, good point. So, air traffic control. It's Sky Daddy.
Oh. Sky Daddy.
Oh, God.
Woo! We went
Man.
there.
So,
You should,
God, I want to
you
call him
have-
that so bad.
You have. Why not? Just do it once and record it. Oh my gosh,
Because
so epic.
it is a professional environment, okay?
And then Bravo Lima Sky Daddy. Do it. Oh man, that'd be so awesome.
God, that'd be so bad. But yeah, so ATC is the people that we talk to in the sky. And they're just in the clouds controlling where we go.
In the clouds.
So they're in the clouds. That's where they are.
All
You'll
around
never see them.
us.
But
So on that, do you have one more question? I was
No.
gonna ask you a question.
okay.
So how's I don't know if we've talked about this. How's your new role going?
Did we not?
Yeah,
talk
we've talked about it.
this?
So your new role. Yeah, your new role. So how's marketing going? Yeah, well, I know you were a pilot and then now you're in marketing. So how's that going for you?
I like it. It's interesting because it prior to me coming on, there was never really a marketing department. Like they didn't have a setup for marketing. It was just like they had a person that would do marketing stuff, right? And so eventually, hold on, you got to see this, Carmen.
Yes, right? Tell me no, bro. Tell him to do it. Do you fly? I think Carmen flies, right?
He's going to. So he's going to be joining the flight school.
Please,
Yeah.
and record it. And it's gonna be epic. And you have to record their answer back to you. And then if they sign off with Sky Daddy over, oh my gosh.
ATC can't sign off. That's not something that can happen.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like because I guess what is it? You confirm what they say, right? And then you say something and then they confirm back.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so then when they confirm back, they're like, yeah, whatever, Sky Daddy over, whatever. Oh, he said it.
Oh God, it'd be so funny to see. Carmen, don't do that as a student. That'll turn badish for you.
Why?
Because as a student, dude, no. Like especially at Blue Line. Blue Line.
So as a CFI, right? Certified flight instructor, right? CFI.
Oh, dude, there's definitely things that they get away with that they should not be doing. Like they're not illegal, but it's definitely like crossing the border of like what's professional. So,
You only live once, man. You only live once.
Yeah,
So
and you
sometimes.
yeah. It's not like the car world.
I'm not saying
Dude.
I'm not saying go do a barrel roll in the plane. I'm just saying call him Sky Daddy.
This is one of my pet peeves. This is one of my pet peeves about aviation. Okay, is I don't like that your license can be taken like that off of the stupidest shit. It's sensitive, so that's why I keep bringing up. Like I was pushing my limits that one day. So I was doing a traffic pattern. I think I told you about this. I was doing a traffic pattern at Raleigh. So I'm in Raleigh's airspace, and essentially I'm practicing takeoffs and landings, right, in a square pattern. And there's a Cessna doing the same thing in that same pattern as me. Well, Cessnas are slow, and our Diamonds are faster than those, and I was catching up to that Cessna. So Tower came on and was like, 416 Bravo Lima, just so you know, you're going about 50 knots faster than that Cessna. And I came on, and all I said was like, I was just like, cool. And some random pilot came on comms. I still don't know who it was, but they came on comms and just went, ha! Oh god. I have to
That's
post
awesome.
that. It's
That's
on Instagram.
It's
in my archive on Instagram stories because I posted
that would
it.
make my career as a pilot. Cool.
Carmen says, Johnny, I have 30 flight hours, but I've never said Sky Daddy yet.
Yes.
You need to get to about 300
You're gonna
before
be
you
my
can do it.
hero, bro. Oh man. Die happy man if I ever hear someone say that and see that go viral.
God, remind me to not have Blue Line students come onto this live feed and have you encourage them to do stupid shit.
What are friends for?
Yeah, but okay, I think that was my position. So yeah, it's been fun. I've been liking it. Haven't flown much, which is fine. I'll eventually get to that point, but but as of right now, like I'm just developing a lot of media, so I'm really kind of pumped about that. And us about to move, I'm in a really good position where I have like a lot of impact on this company, which is really cool. So like the stuff that I create actually has an effect on it, right? So that's another reason why I kind of like it. So, but
So you know what I'm saying? They should probably get you a raise. But
that's funny.
That's not.
Trey's not gonna watch this. That dude does not have time to watch this stuff. That dude is busy.
And then when he's like, so about that raise, you're like, I didn't mean that, boss.
That's so funny. Carmen said he didn't earn it. He hasn't earned it yet. Correct. You haven't earned Sky Daddy yet.
Out. Well, we're not calling Carmen Sky Daddy. We're saying that he should say it.
Okay, man. You have anything else?
I'm good. We're all set.
He just wants to
fun.
leave.
It was awesome catching up with CJ.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of fun. I'm pumped about part 2. I need to reach out to Bear. I'm so far behind on this. Bear reached out to me wanting to be on this live show, and I need to connect with her and make it happen. So I'll see if I can. She was on a real one, dude. She was on like a real TV set recently, and I'm like,
and she was in a real show too before.
She had that $100,000 wedding. Well, we gotta stop. We'll talk about this with her. Bear did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whoa, she had $100,000 wedding.
Yep, I'm gonna hold up.
Oh man,
she literally did. Yeah, so we'll have to talk about it. I'll have to bring her on. We'll have to have that conversation. Maybe. So, but either way, so we will. I'll see if I can.
Oh man, he's dropping little. We're gonna have to touch on this and touch on that and.
Bear is gonna be very difficult to fit in less than an hour. Like that girl's story is going. So
she gets an exclusive. I mean, she's a freaking like.
The first 3-hour Fluffernutter. No, it'll be a 24-hour cast.
Jeez, oh my gosh.
So many Fluffernutters to survive. So, but
diabetes.
I don't want it anymore. But okay, man. Well, I love your face, man. I'm gonna kick you off and start finishing this up. So okay, goodbye.
Oh, bye, man. I'm right there. We'll come back, man.
Okay, bye.
When the game on the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Gotta be playing it safe and not be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
I don't know the beginning 80% of the lyrics. I'm still just winging it.
Yeah, me too. I just said game too legit. Hey.
Okay, see ya, man.
Take care, brother.
All right, guys. So, actually, here, let me get some good music going on here. Finish this up. So, we finished up another Fluffernutter Live, episode 18. Man, I've seen fidgety today, and it's because I told you, man, I feel uncomfortable. I think I'm pregnant. A lot of my body is just uncomfortable. So, hopefully I'll feel better next time. And we'll tune into episode 19. Hopefully, it can work out to get Bear on here. That'd be really great. Her name is Bear Dellinger. If you want to go find her, it's almost impossible not to find her. She's the I was about to say a Formula One drifter. That's a different girl. Yikes. So. She actually drifts cars and builds cars, and she now works for a clutch company, and so it won't be hard to find her. That being said, I love your faces. This is fun. I look forward to next week's, hoping it can happen, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm going to turn the timer on. If you have any other questions, throw it in the comments now on YouTube, and I'll answer them as much as I can as we go into our countdown, which starts now. All right, 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Woo! I'll be right back. Hold on. If you have questions, put it in there. I'll come back and answer, I swear. Okay. I'm back. 4 people are still watching. You guys are committed. This is just the outro timer. You don't have to be here. Turn that music down a little bit. Oh, God. I'm pumped to see where this will turn into. So far, I've been enjoying it, reconnecting with people. Eventually, Johnny and I are going to have one where it's just him and I, and we'll just catch up with each other, because it's kind of hard to fit in everything into an hour. It's really difficult. But that's what makes it interesting, right? Like leaving a little bit of a cliffhanger. So, 1 minute and 45 seconds, guys. By the way, if you hear a sound, it's because I fidget a lot, and it's right next to my mic. I gotta stop doing that. Oh, God. Let's see here. Jack's coming in at the last 1 minute and 30 seconds. Are you going to the airlines? If so, which regional and main carrier airline are you going into? I don't know. I have no idea. If I go regionals, I'll most likely go SkyWest and have that tie into Southwest. Southwest, if I go the airline route, that is the only route that I want to go. But the downside is that requires me to have a bachelor's degree, which I have no interest in college. So that's why the corporate world has actually been the most interesting thing to me. So we'll see what happens. Not sure. I'm not in a rush. All I care about is my financial freedom. I'm working on my real estate stuff right now. I'm in a good position. I like working for Blue Line. So we'll see how it goes. I'm at a point in my life where I'm not too worried about it. So it can go either way. As of now, I have all the ratings I need to enjoy myself as a pilot. And hopefully live the life that, there's an Instagrammer, his name is Timmy's Flow. And he lives a pilot life that I really enjoy. I think I would really enjoy that type of life. Living in Florida, boating, owning my own plane, and doing low passes, scaring cows and shit. That's the love of aviation that I have. So, good question, Jack. Appreciate that. Ooh, 10 seconds left. I love your faces, guys. I will see you next week, Monday at 8 p.m., whether it's just Johnny and I or we have a guest. Other than that, love your face. Okay, bye. Okay, really, bye-bye. Bye.